In today's video, we're going to talk about the best places in Virginia Beach to buy ranch style or one-story houses. And we're starting right now. I've had a lot of people recently ask me about this. This is what has kind of spurred this on. And I've wanted to do this for a while to make sure people that come to the area have a context of where the best ranch spots are in the area, because there are some, but also get a proper framework for what kind of ranches there are, what ages, what sizes, what to expect price range wise, and where all these types of houses are, because they can kind of be hidden in different parts of the city. So we're going to go through the north and the south sections of Virginia Beach. I'll go through the map with you, and I'll talk about very specific neighborhoods based on size, based on neighborhood, based on the area that might make the most sense for you, and also price range and age of house, because that is one of the most important pieces that I think people, as I'm talking to them, need to understand about ranch style houses and what types of ranch style houses there are, because there are a lot of them built in different time periods, and you need to know the differences between them. In doing the plans for this video, I knew that most of the ranch style or one-story houses in Virginia Beach were older, but I didn't know exactly how many were older as opposed to newer. I just did some research. In the last year, any house that has gone under contract and sold in Virginia Beach that is a ranch story house, 48.5% of those houses were built between 1950 and 1970, and 51.5% were built 1970 and after. That means that in the last 50 years, just about half of the ranch style houses were built. And then the 20 years before that, the other half almost were built. So that's pretty staggering to show how many houses in the area that are ranch are older. So I want to show you where all the best spots are, but also again tell you if you want newer ranch style houses, where to find those. So let's focus first on the north side of Virginia Beach, and we'll talk about the northwestern side of Virginia Beach, which is over here near Bayside, Princess Anne High School District, part of it, and up north towards Chicks Beach. So the main places to focus on here, if you're looking under 400,000, one of which is Aragona, which is down in the southeastern section of this area, and I'll drop a pin so you can see. Nothing fancy here. These are in the low 300,000 price ranges up into the 350. It's a pretty significant staple of northwest Virginia Beach, and not huge lots, not tiny necessarily, and not glamorous style houses, but for the price, for the location, this is a pretty popular area because it's one of the lower priced house or neighborhoods in Virginia Beach. But a lot of ranch style houses in Aragona, and that continues for a large part of the neighborhood. And in zooming out, you'll see Aragona itself is a pretty large part of northwest Virginia Beach. Now, going further east, you got Pembroke Meadows over here just east of Independence. One of my favorite neighborhoods in all of Virginia Beach is Thorogood, which is a larger, these are ones if you're thinking about 3,000 square feet, 3,500 square feet, a lot of ranches in Thorogood, but these are more like in the 650, 750, 850 price range, but the lot sizes are much larger. So if you want wide lots, more space, more spread out, I love Thorogood. I've done videos about Thorogood before, and I think that for the price, for the relaxed feel of the neighborhood, I'm a big fan of Thorogood. Zooming out from there, you'll have some spots like close to Bayville Farms and Chicks Beach, some very small spots. One example is Bayville Park, which is right next to Bayville Farms Park, and I'll drop a pin here too. Very small neighborhood, but these are, in the upper threes, mid threes. You could probably creep into the 4 range right now, but this is access to Chicks Beach is one of the primary benefits here. Otherwise, Chicks Beach is great, as well as Bay Lake Pines, which is a nice 2,500 square foot, 2,000 square foot ish neighborhood type of house style, older style houses built in the 50s and 60s, but you're close to, you can actually walk or get a quick bike ride to Chicks Beach, which is also awesome as well. So I like Bay Lake Pines because it feels like you're in a neighborhood, but also it feels like you're also accessible to the beach. That being said, most of Northwest away from the beach is going to be under 450, especially the ranch style houses. So like L&J Gardens, which is over here on the northwest side, Lake Smith Terrace, which is in the 450, 500 price range. You'll see some a little bit higher, especially on the lake, but around Lake Smith and Lake Lawson. But this whole area around Diamond Springs as well on the far west side, that bumps into the 300 price range as well. But a lot of ranches in northwestern Virginia Beach. Now, the thing to note though is there is a lower priced part of northwestern Virginia Beach, and then you've got Chicks Beach and that northwestern section near the beach. But then going further east into north central and northeastern Virginia Beach, it's all higher priced, over $450, $500 for the most part. If you want under $4, I'd say stick to close to Virginia Beach Boulevard. You got Malibu, which is right on the very bottom part of Kings Grant, that section, or next to Kings Grant. Birchwood Gardens, which is also right next door to that. I'll drop a pin here so you can see that. This is very accessible. These are $375, $425 ish price range, and you're close to Virginia Beach Boulevard, which is one of the biggest benefits of being here, as well as you're close to the interstates. The accessibility here is wonderful, and I like this neighborhood for that reason. Now, zooming out of there, if you want to go a little bit higher, Kings Grant is amazing. You'll see a lot of two-story houses there, but a lot of ranch style in Kings Grant. So on the western side of Kings Grant, you'll see more in the 5s, 6s, and 7s before you get to the water. The center of Kings Grant, let's drop on Prince Andrew. You'll see some ranches here. There's one right there. And you see they're built in the 60s mostly. So while there's a mixture of styles, you'll see some ranches and some decent sized lots too for what you're paying for. These are going to be in the 5s, 6s, and 7s. You'll see the same thing on the other side over closer to this is Kingston Elementary School, and over into the Kings Grant Elementary School side, as well as some of those larger ranches, sprawling ranches. And then as you go further back, you'll find some random ones too. But mostly you'll find the highest concentration is going to be in Kings Grant in both sides. So that's going to be in the 5s to 8-ish price range. And then going further east from there, anything under $450 and $5, nothing over in the northeastern section. You've got Great Neck Meadows, big fan of that, right around Old Donation Parkway. On the west side, you got Trent Berkshire, Laurel Cove. I'll drop a pin so you can see what Laurel Cove looks like. But you'll see a mixture of ranches. In here, same kind of thing, brick ranch style. You see a theme here. A lot of these are built in the 60s, 50s, and 60s. Kenstock, another great neighborhood, mostly full of ranches as well in the western Great Neck section. Then if you go into Allenton and Bay Cliff, these are two neighborhoods right here. Also a mixture, but a lot of ranches, especially I love Bay Cliff. And you see a lot of ranches in here. 3,200 square feet, 2,500 square feet, 35. You'll see a range, but a mixture of nice size lots, seclusion, but you also have a boat ramp on the southwestern section of this neighborhood that was built up by the community, the residents of the community, which is very uncommon. So then zooming out of there, you'll see some randomness, some random ranches all across Great Neck, but most of them are going to be concentrated in the central section, anywhere from Allenton over to Trent Berkshire and down into the south side near Hilltop. You'll see some in the 4s range, but most of Great Neck's ranches are going to be in the 5s and above, and these are going to be older. And so most of the newer houses are not going to be in this area, especially when it comes to ranches. Bay Colony, another one, 8, 9, $1 million plus. You'll see some 2-story, but you'll also see a bunch of ranches because, again, they have a lot of lot sizes that can fit these kinds of ranches, and it still works well. But if you want newer ranches, this is where you come further south into South Virginia Beach. Virginia Beach is all through here. This is all Virginia Beach right here. Now, the southwestern side is still older, so a lot of the 50s and 60s, but it's starting to get in the 70s and 80s and creeping into the 90s, mostly 80s, though, in the southwestern side. So I'm going to start in some parts that I really like that are older but are very convenient. Neighborhood like Westview that's over on the western side that is close to 64 and Route 13, which is Military Highway. That's next to Sunnyside. These neighborhoods in here are brick ranch style. I'll show you, let's just drop a pin. Nothing fancy. These are about $299, $310, $285, 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, but the low $300 price range. And a lot of the people that live in here have been in here for a long time. Some original owners back in 56, 57, 1958. And so a lot of these are converted garages, but I like this neighborhood because it's very hard to find houses in the $300 price range, brick, well-built houses, and very close to a lot of things. So one of the drawbacks, though, to a neighborhood like Woodstock and other neighborhoods that are similar to this, that are pretty common in Virginia Beach because of the age, is that a lot of the houses in the 50s and 60s were known to have 3-bedroom and 1.5 bath houses instead of 3-bedroom, 2.5, or 4-bedroom, 2.5. So the lack of bathrooms can keep the price low. On the flip side, though, that can also make it more advantageous because if you want the location and the house style and the construction that you like a lot, and you're willing to give up that extra half bath, you can save some money, get a house for $299 in a place like Westview, and really get a great deal. Going off Providence, you'll see Kempsville Colony, great neighborhood, similar to Westview, same kind of style, a little bit higher price, like $350, and like Fairfield, $450, $500 for a lot of ranches in Fairfield. Drop a pin in Fairfield. This is over in Providence and Kempsville Road. A lot of ranches over here. A lot of, like, you see a larger roof, higher roof lines, bigger houses, but what comes with bigger and comes with larger lots comes higher price. So again, these are the $450, $500 price range right now. You can see some a little bit cheaper than that, the smaller houses, but mostly $450 to $525, even $550 now I'm seeing in Fairfield. So zooming out of here, just keep in mind, in general, going over from Kempsville, this is Kempsville right here. Kempsville and West, most of those are going to be in the 50s and 60s. And you'll see some pockets of houses built in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. But as you go further south, you'll see places like Brigadoon. Going further south near Tallwood High School, these are built in the 80s. Same idea. I love these neighborhoods because you get same kind of ranch, but I say one of the best kept secrets in Virginia Beach to me is Brigadoon because it's a nice combination of all the things I'm talking about: size of lot, size of house, and price. Brigadoon, you can be in the low 4s and even sometimes in the high 3s and mid 3s. Here's the change, or the evolution, if you will, of Virginia Beach. Once you cross over Kempsville Road on Indian River Road, going over towards Farrell Parkway, right in here, this whole section here, that's where you start seeing more houses built in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and still some ranches. So Indian Lakes, right around here, you'll see smaller lots, but you'll still see a good amount of ranches. Notice in here, these are small, but these are also going to be in like the 340 range, 325, 355 range. They're not all ranches, but they're also small lots, but you're going to be in an in-demand school district in a very central location and a little bit newer. Not always a fan. If you want something that's more of a larger lot, this would not be something I would be super interested in because once you get over $450, that's where you start seeing newer, a little bit newer, and the lots, they're going to be a little bit larger. For example, Glenwood is a neighborhood I think you might like a lot if you want a ranch, but a little bit newer house, like built in the 90s. You'll start seeing, as you get newer, in the newer houses, there are not as many ranches. And this is becoming more common in that time period. That's why it's harder to find. There's a ranch in Glenwood right there. But remember, keep in mind that, like, I would focus on Glenwood if you want a ranch that's newer, but don't expect too many of them. And so as you go further east, you'll start seeing more, but you'll see like Salem Lakes is another neighborhood that has some ranches that are also like smaller, like Indian Lakes, the other one I mentioned, similar to that. But anything southwest going into the south central section is going to be mostly going to be two-story houses, unless you want to go older. And then you can get some ranges anywhere from the 300 to the 500 price range. Now, as you go further closer to Larkspur and Bellamy Manor, this area is a spot I think is worth if you go into the 4s and 5s. Let's just drop a pin here on Bob Jones. There's some 2 stories, but a lot of brick ranch built in the 60s. This neighborhood is fantastic. The reason I like this neighborhood, not just the fact that the houses are pretty large, they can be like 25 to 3,500 square feet in some cases, mostly 25 to 3,000 if you want to be in that larger brick ranch style house. You'll see some that are like between 17 and 25. Those are going to be in the upper 3s, but mostly low to mid 4s, which is a good value for what you're getting here. A lot of ranches in Larkspur, but the good thing about Larkspur and next door Bellamy Manor right here is that you're so close to town center. You're like 7-8 minutes or so from town center, which is all the stuff that's accessible to like that center part of Virginia Beach with Wegmans, my favorite grocery store, and Walmart's right next to there, Target, like all the big boxes, and some great Nando's, good chicken place, all the stuff near town center, which is great. But I say it's one of the best spots if you want a brick ranch spot. And a lot of high concentration of ranches are going to be down in Larkspur, Bellamy Manor area, and also going further south. But again, the theme again is If in the 4 and 5 plus range in the center of Virginia Beach, they're going to be older houses, but they're going to be a little bit larger. So bang for buck, if you want a larger house with a ranch, focus on the South Central section, Bellarmine Manor, Larkspur, Fairfield, great houses, great neighborhoods, well-treed lots. One more area I want to talk about before we go further in the southeastern corner is the kind of the meaty center of Virginia Beach, the central section of Virginia Beach, which is just east of Mount Trashmore and west of Mount Trashmore. There's one area called Carolan Farms in Arrowhead that is all like ranches and vinyl ranches. A lot of them. Drop a pin here. You see what I'm talking about? Again, nothing fancy, but for the price, you're talking about low 3s, mid 3s, upper 3s for a lot of these houses. Still very convenient, close to the interstates. And then also Carolan Farms, which is next door, that is also houses in the 3s as well. And they're more vinyl ranches. So that section is a good spot if you want accessibility, but also keeping the price down low as well. Some of the places around there kind of feel old. I like it. I'm used to it. I'm there all the time. But again, it's just not always, it's not, if someone's from out of town and they see that area, it might not be as eye appealing, like for the strip malls and the roads itself, as other parts of Virginia Beach. But going further east of Mount Trashmore, this is a spot that for the value for between low 3s, mid 3s, upper 3s, and low 4s, Windsor Oaks, Windsor Woods, Princess Anne Plaza, all these neighborhoods are east of Mount Trashmore, and they all kind of blend together. And for the price, I'm a big fan. So for example, I'm going to drop a pin in Windsor Oaks that's close to Mount Trashmore. There's access from the neighborhood to get into Mount Trashmore. A lot of ranches in here that are going to be $350 to $380-ish. If there's something that's all totally done inside and it's also like 22,000 square feet, 2,200 square feet, you'll probably see it in that 380 range. But I'd say for the price and location, great houses. Going further east, also some good value in here as well, but it depends on where as far as how much they're going to be. But close to Bow Creek is one thing I'd focus on as far as flooding goes, because there have been some issues in the past around Bow Creek. They're turning this Bow Creek golf course into a drainage area to help with this. But anywhere close to Bow Creek, just check for flood insurance if it's required. And there are some sections, like a sneaky spot close to Lynn Haven Mall, that actually is in Ocean Lake School District, which the rest of the neighborhood is not. That section is, from what my research has been, is that little section there. So if that's something you want to focus on, I just do some research and see if that might be a spot you might like as well. Now, not all of this area feels the same. Some of it can feel kind of old. It just depends, right? But I would definitely check this neighborhood out for the price, because there are a lot of pockets in here that really can feel really great. And so if you want to be in the center part, I keep Princess Anne Plaza through Windsor Woods, Windsor Oaks in mind for sure. Now, the big southeastern section of Virginia Beach is where I want to focus for anything new, like newer ranches. That's where you can put most of your attention, because this is where a lot of the newer construction is built. And this is a spot where some of the places where they still built some ranches were the most prevalent. For example, Ocean Lakes, a very popular spot that is close to the Oceana Naval Air Station, also close to Dam Neck, close to Nemo Parkway. It's awesome. I'll drop a pin in here so you can see what I'm talking about here, but you'll see some two-story in here, but a lot of ranches, like there's one right there. They kind of scattered across. I'd say about 30% of the neighborhood's ranches. So if you want that style, but you want some options, but you also want to be in the Ocean Lakes School District, check out Ocean Lakes neighborhood. It's also an HOA neighborhood. A couple others nearby I think would keep in mind would be, one is Red Wing, which is closer to the Oceana Naval Air Station, which is right next to it, actually, right over here near General Booth and Dam Neck. And then going further south and east around Ocean Lakes is another place called Pine Meadows and Red Mill Farm. I'll drop a pin at Red Mill so you can see kind of what that neighborhood is like as well. You'll see a mixture of both two-story and ranches, but you'll see some ranches in there. These are going to be closer to the 4 range and up because, Red Mill Farm can be a little bit more in demand, and you're going to be paying for the size and demand of location. So you'll see kind of some ranches intermittent in here, and some even some 2-car garage ranches every once in a while too. But that's close to Red Mill Commons. A lot of shopping in Red Mill, and also close to Sandbridge. You're about 15 minutes away from Sandbridge Beach, which is, it's very hard to find neighborhoods that are that close and to have ranches nearby as well. Foxfire is another neighborhood I want to mention that could be worth checking out in the 4s and low 5s. And also, if you want to go into the higher price ranges in the southeastern section, there are 3 neighborhoods to check out. Heron Ridge is one that's near around the Heron Ridge Golf Course, a very nice golf course. I'll show you what that looks like. Again, a lot of 2-story, but you'll see some glorified ranches in here. Most of the higher price neighborhoods, like in the 8s, 9s, and up, like Heron Ridge, for example, they're going to have mostly 2-story, but you'll just still see some intermittent ranches as you go. And those are going to be still in the 8s in Heron Ridge for the most part. Then going further east is Lagomar. Lagomar is one of my favorite neighborhoods in Virginia Beach. There are 2 parts of it. The north side is newer, mostly 2-story. South side is more random, a bit older, but also you got a lot of ranches in there. So it's got a lot of nature, it's woodsy, it's kind of random. It's not like a planned subdivision where everything's the same, which I love. And that's why you see like random ranches, big ranches sometimes, big lots. It's just a lot of variety, and you'll find some good ranches in Lagomar for that reason. These prices are going to still also be in the 7s, 8s, and 9s mostly, until you get those bigger ones. But most of the ranches in that price range or in that neighborhood aren't going to be over 9 or 950. And then the one other neighborhood, if you want to go over $1 million or 8, 9 or over $1 million, go to Indian River Plantation or check that out. It's south of Indian River. It's just north of Indian River Road, right here. And this neighborhood, it's pretty unique. It's one of a kind, but you'll find some ranches in here in like the 8, 9, and $1 million plus range. Lots are a little bit bigger. It's a bit more of a custom-ish looking neighborhood and custom-ish looking houses inside, so that there's no real set. Like there's some that look like pristine and new and renovated, and some kind of look still original and dated. So like they're not all the same in Indian River Plantation. So that variety is something you might like as well. One more neighborhood I mentioned, and that is kind of spans several price ranges, is in the 4s and 5s mostly, is Courthouse Estates. Courthouse Estates is a planned subdivision, HOA, multiple different neighborhoods with different sizes of houses in here, but you'll see a lot of ranches interspersed in the neighborhood, and these are built in the late 90s. The reason that matters is because that's when a lot of the styles became more open floor plan, way more open floor plan concept. So if you want the balance of a ranch style house, the opportunity for one, and also a little bit newer, but maybe not brand new and pay the brand new price, then I would check out a place like Courthouse Estates, because that time period kind of fits the balance between the ranch and potentially the best version of an open floor plan that you might like, and also a little bit larger house, like maybe 2,200 square feet and up. So if you have any more questions about ranches, 2-story houses, or anything about real estate moving to Virginia Beach through Williamsburg, let me know. I love doing this for people. This is what I do all the time. I have my contact information in the description, and if you need help relocating to the area, reach out at any point and I'll do whatever I can to help you relocate to the area. And I will see you on the next video.